So it's been a while, but finally we're back to film the last part of my end of the year triple video. So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now I say end of the year, but we're now into February 2020. So this video is definitely very late, of which I apologise about, but nevertheless, we are here to film it. We're here to talk about some artists today, nevertheless. Now, I've got a couple big announcements coming up on the channel soon, one of which is about my upcoming podcast, which has nothing to do with the channel, but I'm really excited about it, and I hope that a lot of you can join me over on my podcast. The other update about the channel, I'm going to keep a surprise. I will fill you in on that, hopefully, within the next 3 weeks, probably. But yeah, it's, it's been a while since I've done a video. Been a bit unmotivated, I think, lately to come in front of the channel, in front of the camera, just because I've had so much going on. I've been coming home from work super tired and drained, and, it's hard to feel or look enthusiastic after long days like that. And also, I got very ill for a week, so that put me out for an entire week. I got so ill I could barely get out of bed. So it's taken me a while to get around to filming this video. It's late. In fact, a couple albums have been announced for this year already that I'm interested in, one of which we will be talking about in this video. So, but nevertheless, gotta do it. It's my end of the year tradition. I always do my least to best albums of the year. I show you every record that come out in that particular year that I bought, and I do what studio albums I want from the upcoming year, which is, of course, the year we're already a month into, 2020. So these are records I'd love to get in 2020. Of course, never get even half of them, but it's just me talking about ones that I'd love. Okay, so we'll just dig in, shall we? So first up, I want to talk about Mr. Bob Dylan. The last album he released was in 2017, and it was this album here, Triplicate. This was the third of his American Songbook albums. That's right, he done 3 of these. He got really carried away. So he had the first one, which was... Where's my Bob Dylan section? Oh, it's way down on the ground. I can't be asked. He had something to do with it. He had the blue-covered one, Shadow in the Night or something like that. And then he had a second one about like a black and white covered one. Title had something to do with an angel in it. I know people are going to tell me in the comments, these were the titles. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. I apologise. And then he done this one. And this one is called Triplicate because it is a triple vinyl set. This is, look at all these songs, so many. Now, while they were interesting to listen to, unfortunately, the appeal for me with Dylan has never been his voice, even though back in the 60s and 70s and even 80s to a certain extent, it was okay. Unfortunately, his voice has just deteriorated so much nowadays that the appeal is still definitely the songwriting. So I'd love to, hopefully this is the last one, He's done a trilogy of albums. Hopefully that's it. Now he can come back with some original work. I really want to get one because this was the first Dylan album I bought on release, believe it or not. I always just waited on Dylan stuff because I only really got into Dylan, funny enough, around the time of the first American Songbook album. And when I heard it was American Songbook, it just wasn't enough for me to go buy it on release day. So this was the only one I got on release day because I had hope that, hey, maybe this one would be better. And, it was alright. They're alright, all of them. They're nothing to go shouting about, I don't think. But I'd love to get some original Dylan stuff again. Anyway, so hopefully we'll get an original Dylan album this year. Now, every time I do one of these videos, I always talk about this band, the Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, I'm holding up their second to last album because I didn't buy the last album because I didn't really like it much. And that's the reason I really want another album from them. I just really want to get an album that people are excited about again because their first 5 albums were really good. People loved them. And then the 6th one come out, Hotel Casino and blah, 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 blah. And it weren't great. And I'd like to get another exciting album from them. Also, I think it was a 2017 album. I'm pretty sure. Might have been 2018. So they've had a good year now where they could have been working on a new one. So hopefully they've done one. But they are releasing them at a bit of a snail's pace lately. So yeah, hopefully we get another Arctic Monkeys album. This one here is one which I've just been so excited about lately. I'm falling in love with this artist. This is Aurora. A Norwegian singer. who's just had a massive spark of fame lately because she appeared on the soundtrack to Frozen 2, which is really cool, but it's super annoying because when I put Aurora on shuffle on Spotify, because it's now obviously her most famous song, I get like 10 versions of that play because Spotify always tries to play the most popular songs first by the artist when you put them on shuffle. And I get about 10 different versions of the Frozen 2 song played before I get any of her actual solo stuff, which is far better. But yeah, she you know, she's young, she's fresh. I'm sure she's going to be pumping stuff out for a few years to try and, you know, get higher up on the well-known chart. She's said that she's been working in the studio already, so I've got hope that we'll see later on in the year another album from Aurora. I've absolutely loved everything she's done. She's only got 2 albums, but they're both absolutely fantastic. And I really hope that we see a 3rd album from her this year. Next up, I want to talk about is Blondie. Blondie, you know, we all know Blondie. This was their last album. This was Pollinator. This was a decent album. I quite enjoyed it. Again, I'm not sure if this was meant to be their last or not, but if it wasn't, I hope we'd see another one now. This was a 2017 album, so it's got to that point where it's like, okay, guys, come on, we're ready for another one. It's time. It's time. So hopefully we'll get another one from Blondie. This one here really surprises me. I never really normally have to talk about this guy because it's just a guarantee, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Joe Bonamassa, this is his last album, Redemption, which came out in 2018. And I know that that's not too long ago, but Joe Bonamassa is known for putting out like 4 records a year. And one of them is pretty much always a studio album. You're always guaranteed to get like a studio album, a live album. What else do you get? He's in a few bands. Maybe one of his bands have put out an album. But we didn't get a studio album from Joe last year. In fact, we barely got anything. We only got a live album, which is shocking for Joe Bonamassa. So I really hope that we get another studio album. This was a really good album. He's been on a bit of a kick lately. I love Driving Towards the Daylight, Different Shades of Blue. Blues Desperation is like a fantastic record. And then Redemption, they've all been really good. So he's been on a nice streak lately of putting out good records. So let's hope that the next one's really good as well. And hopefully it comes out this year. Next up, I am going to talk about Mr. Lindsey Buckingham. You know, this man here left, well, he didn't leave, he got kicked out of Fleetwood Mac. So I think it's time that maybe he showed them what mistake they made. I mean, I'm sure they already know that deep down because his solo stuff is great already. But I'm thinking another solo record is well overdue because this one here was 2011, his last solo one. And since then, all he's done is that album combined with Christine McVie. It's basically Fleetwood Mac without Stevie Nicks, but I wasn't a big fan of that album. I'd love to get another album like this. This is Seed to Be Sowed. This is a great record. I'm very hopeful that he'll do another record shortly. Next up is Eric Clapton. This was his last album, Happy Xmas, which was a nice Christmas album. But the thing with Clapton is he's getting on a bit now, and you do worry about when these people are going to go. Clapton, you know, he done a lot of naughty stuff during his time. I'm shocked he's still alive as it is, to be honest. But I really hope that this isn't his last album, because I'd love to get a proper studio album from him again. I don't think he's going to go anytime soon, but you just never know. I mean, when I think of things like that, think like Tom Petty, he just went out the blue. So you never know, and I just don't really want this to be Clapton's last, because even though it was a good Christmas album, it's a Christmas album, and it's a very traditional Christmas album, so you can only really listen to it at Christmas, and most of them are covers. So I'm hoping that we get a proper studio album from Clapton soon. Okay, so next one up. This album here came out in 2015, so it's been 5 years since this artist put out a record. And that is Melody Gardot, who is a French jazz singer who I absolutely have fallen in love with. I love all 4 of her albums. This was her last album, Currency of Men. This came out in 2015, as I say. And she was pumping these albums out for a while. Like, her first 4 albums come out like 2 years apart max. And all of a sudden there's been a 5-year gap. She has put a live box set out since then. But yeah, I'm just really hoping now that we're going to see another album this year. It's really well overdue for her. So I think that's a very good possibility. Unlike this one, I talk about this one every year. Every single year I say, it's been 25 years. I think it's pushing 30 now. Yeah, it's been 27 years since this guy put a record out. but I still nag about it because it annoys me. And that's Billy Joel's. This is his last album from 1993. This is The River of Dreams, which is a really good record. I love this album, and I love Billy Joel. And it infuriates me that he hasn't put a record out in that long, because he's still touring, he's still very active, he's still got a great voice. And I know he said some things on interviews and stuff why he's not writing, but I don't care. I want another record from you, Billy. Every record you've put out has been very, very entertaining, and I want another one. Hey, I'm selfish. I want more. This one here is a guaranteed, because my copy of this album shipped yesterday. I really want, and thankfully we're getting, a Lone Bellow album this year. Lone Bellow, New York country band, which I really like. So this is the last thing they put out in doesn't have a date, I'm pretty sure it's 2017. This is an EP, it's got 9, is it 9? Oh no, it's only 7, I thought it had more on. Yeah, 7. 7 songs on. It's not far off an album. It's very interesting, listen, I quite enjoyed it. But I love their first and third record. So I'm really excited to get a fourth album from them. You know, Lone Bellow are a great band. Really, really excited to get more of them. Should be here in a week or two, hopefully. It's coming signed as well, so I'm very excited. Next up is Madness. I love Madness. I'm British, of course I love Madness. If you live in Britain and you don't like Madness, what is wrong with you? To be honest, even if you're outside of Britain and you say you straight up dislike them, I just don't get it. I think they're just such a fun, innocent band. But their last album was in 2016, and it Can't Touch Us Now, and this was a really, really good record, really good. So I'm really, really hoping that we get another record from Madness. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one soon. It's been 4 years. It's kind of getting to that point where they normally would release another one. So, fingers crossed. Next one up, this one's probably been a bit hopeful. Paul McCartney, this was his last album from, what was it, 2018? Yeah, 2018. Egypt Station. This was an okay album. It disappointed me a bit, because I'm such a huge fan of McCartney, and New was such a good record. But this one weren't as good as New. And, it probably falls around the middle of a McCartney ranking, I think. McCartney likes to wait about 5 years to release a record. So 2018, probably asking a bit too soon here. But I'd like another one, just because I'd love to get a really good one from McCartney again. Because I loved it when New came out. That one was so exciting. It was so fun to be a Beatles/McCartney fan at the time. And then Egypt Station came out, and it was like, yeah, it's good, it's all right, but I wanted to relive that New feeling, and didn't get that from Egypt Station. Next up is Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. Please stop doing the EPs, Noel Gallagher. I don't really dislike them, but I'm not really into them much. I just really want another album from you. And this one here, Who Built the Moon, was fantastic. In fact, all 3 of your records have been fantastic, Noel. I've loved all your albums, especially your first one. I think they're all fantastic. And Noel's proving to stay very fresh. I know some of the diehard Oasis fans don't like it, but Noel's staying very fresh. He's right. He's being really creative. He's pushing boundaries. He sounds fantastic. I love what Noel Gallagher's doing in his solo career. I'm over the moon with it, and I hope it keeps going that way. Just the EPs were a little bit of a misstep, so hopefully he'll do an album which will get him back on track. Next up is Robert Plant. It's getting to that time where Robert Plant's probably gearing up for another release as well. This was 2017. This was his last album, Carry Fire, which was absolutely incredible. I think we can all agree. This was just an incredible record. Just really solid stuff. So yeah, I think it's time. And I really look forward to his records, because the last 4 have all been super high quality. They've all easily cracked my top 3 albums of that particular year they were released. So, fingers crossed. Right, what we got? I've got 3 more records to talk about here. Next up is the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I mean, Stones is an interesting one, because you never know what they're going to do. This was a blues album, their last one, in 2016. What's it called? Blue and Lonesome. Awful cover, but the record itself was absolutely fantastic. This was it just amazes me that the Stones haven't done like another full-on blues album before or since this already, because this one was so good. They proved that they can absolutely nail that genre of music. I'll be very curious to see what the next album is, if they're going to go bluesy again or if they're going to go back to their roots. Either way, I don't mind. I'll just be excited to hear more Stones. So yeah, hopefully we get that. Next one up. Lately, I've just been into this artist. I won't say she's one of my very favourites, but I've been into her a bit lately. I like Sia, modern day kind of singer. She's fun. This was her last album from last year, so maybe a bit too early. But she does tend to pump an album out a year, which is nice. This album here was crap. It was awful. Probably because it's with Labyrinth and Diplo. I'm very familiar with Labyrinth because I had to do like a load of music videos for him when I used to do media at Sixth Form. Don't really know much about Diplo, but I wasn't a big fan. This album sucks. I've got a few Sia albums down my collection, and I really do enjoy them all to a certain extent, but this one is bad. So I'm really hoping that she can come back with a proper solo record. We'll get rid of everyone else, don't want anyone else on there. Hopefully she'll come back with a solo record, and it'll be really entertaining. Last one up I want to talk about. It was 2016, I believe. This record might... No, 2017, sorry. Got it wrong. This is Songs of Experience by U2. Again, U2 tend to release an album about every 3-4 years, so they're kind of getting in that ball pit now where they're ready, probably gearing up to release another record, and I'd love another record from U2. I've really enjoyed all of U2's latest attempts. Songs of Experience was decent, but I love the one before it, Wait, this was Experience? Yeah. What's it called? Songs of Innocence, I think the one before that. The one that they released on Apple and everyone hated it because everyone had it for free on Apple. But I love that record. I thought that was a really, really good album. So I'm really looking forward to getting some more U2. Hopefully we will. But that is it from this video, guys. As I say, these are records which I think we could potentially get. I didn't want to just chuck like, oh, here's Keane, because I don't think Keane are obviously going to do one. They done one last year, and their track record of releasing records is not great, so it's just not going to happen this year. You watch, that one will come out now. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what ones you think and hope you're going to get this year. But that's my list. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.